Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Queen of Chaos and Collab. Shenanigans will ensue. Better buckle up, you're in for a ride with the Fistmits of Misfits, Mary Lizzie.
Hello. Mary Lizzie coming at you live from Iowa. How's everybody doing out there tonight? I hope everybody's had a decent Monday. I know Mondays can be hard. We're gonna do some more Tales of the Black Death, see if we can get through another chapter. I'm pretty sure we got through Italy, but we're gonna start there just to be safe. Unforgivable Land, Popular Bandits, and Death, because I think it'll actually lead us into France. We'll find out. If not, we can come back and go straight to the France chapter. The Dark Fields. For 2 days you are delirious, battling with the strong fever. You have vague memories of your aunt feeding you barley water and boiled onions. Yes, okay, so this is where we left off. We had gotten out of the prison, met up with our friend, but we either got dysentery or something. Our health is low. Our morals are about halfway. We're gonna have to work on that. What did I do to get it so low? But we have disease. So, our friend helped us to our aunt's. Then one morning, you sit in bed feeling much cured. I think they mean much better. Your aunt sits at the edge of your bed, a worrisome look on her face. And this was translated from French, so there may be some weird word crossovers. I've been able to figure out what they've been wanting to say mostly. Hey Moose, holla! The moose is loose with the goose and the couscous in the caboose for a snooze with no excuse. Ha ha, I got through it all. I did it! Okay. Just pouring some more Sprite into my cup real quick. I brought an extra can knowing I was low. Alright. How are you feeling, Baldassar? Uh, he looks fine. Can I have a bit more soup? Oh, this is Lorenzo. Okay. Your aunt smiles and nods at Lorenzo, who quickly fills up his bowl. Want some? Asks Lorenzo. You shake your head as Aunt Camilla places her cold hand on your forehead. That always felt good when I was sick as a kid, the cold hand on the hot forehead. Aunt Camilla, what brings you back to the countryside, Baldassar? She asks. Announce your parents' death or confess you're fleeing from soldiers. I mean, both are valid. I believe she was your mother's sister? But it's likely she's... Okay, so small town, Italy. during the plague. She probably already knows. She's possibly even talked to the priest. So, she probably knows that. I think I'm going to go with... Oh, such hard decisions. Well, she'll want to know. She'll need to know. I'm going to say, confess you're fleeing from soldiers. As you start to mumble something about soldiers, Lorenzo cuts you off. Authorities started arresting people, said Lorenzo. They tried to imprison us, but we ran away. Authorities are after you? Asked Aunt Camilla. Sounds like you are both in a lot of trouble. Imagine what they will do to me if they find you here. You suddenly realize she regards you now as a delinquent, fleeing justice. You feel guilty of alarming your aunt and bringing your problems to her. A strange illness surrounds us, nothing like this fever. People are dying. Your Aunt Camilla looks at you with worrisome eyes. People are dying? Aunt Camilla gets up and looks far out the window for a short moment, then walks over to the stove to check on the boiling soup. It would be wise to never go back home, Baldassar. You both can spend the night and tomorrow. Best you leave before authorities come here. You walk closer to the warm fireplace and wonder. Your aunt's house is the only safe place you know of. Hi, Bixler. Holla. Soon, Aunt Camilla places a warm bowl of soup in front of you. Florence is the city where you should go, she says. In your mind, Florence sounds almost like a mystical place. Lorenzo stares into the flames in silence. As the shadows flicker around the room, you feel nervous. But with your belly filled with hot soup, you still manage to fall asleep. They are coming. You wake up, alarmed by Lorenzo, who's quickly packing his things. They're coming, he says. You get out of bed and look into the distant road through the morning fog. Pack your things, Baldassar, yells Lorenzo. I saw soldiers not too far away. We need to get away from this place. You hug your aunt one last time, remembering all that she's done for you. We have to go now, said Lorenzo. Following Lorenzo, you dive into a ditch and cross the barren fields. The morning fog turns thicker as you follow the path into the woods. Soon, you reach a long winding road that splits in all directions. Which way do you think we should go? Asked Lorenzo. We can't even see the sky with all this fog. Unsure which way to go, you shrug. Lorenzo, well, I guess let's try this branch here, and, well, if it's the wrong path, we'll just have to backtrack back here? Then we'll just try another road. It doesn't sound much like a plan, but you have nothing else to propose. After a few hours of turning in circles, you finally manage to pick the right path. That sounds like me. I was born without a sense of direction. After hiking all day, you find a grassy glade near the road and set camp. Sorry, I had to get a drink. As you unpack the ragged linen you use as your bed, Lorenzo gathers a few rocks. We need to get a fire going, so we need branches. I want to make soup, so we will also need water. says Lorenzo. Offer to fetch the water or start picking up branches. Well, see, the last time we did this, no matter which one of us did it, we both ended up getting in trouble. Hmm. Hmm. I mean, it sounds like a simple decision, and it is. Last time, though, it got us caught and put in jail. I really don't want to have to try and escape again. Well, I guess I'll do branches. Lorenzo grabs his goat skin canteen and leaves in search of water. You start looking around for dry branches and stumble into an old statue of a veiled woman. Yep. Moose. Moose says, walking in circles. Yep, that's getting nowhere fast. With the tall, bird like wings behind her back, the statue seems to emerge from another era. Pray or walk away. Well, he's a religious boy, so we're going to pray. For a strange reason, you feel inspired and kneel down at her feet and start to pray. In prayer, you think of your own mother. Remembering the kindness and joy she brought into your life, you shed a tear. Not long after, you leave the statue and continue gathering wood until you have enough for the night. You find your way back to camp and round up a few rocks in a circle. A few moments later, you have a fire going, and Lorenzo comes back with his canteen filled. We're going to have pine stew, announces Lorenzo. Well, more like boiled pine bark, but that's what we got. Lorenzo pours the canteen water into a pot and adds pine bark and a few leaves to the mix. Soon you're both sitting by the fire, blowing on the hot soup. Playful conversation around the campfire turns to a grimmer topic. Lorenzo, you've never stolen anything? Not even an egg? He asked with amazement. You shake your head, finding nothing wrong with it. Lorenzo then takes out of his pocket a golden florin coin and parades it under your nose. You'll never guess where I got this, announces Lorenzo. Almost hypnotized by the glowing coin, you stay silent. You give up? Remember that windmill where we met at nightfall? Asked Lorenzo. At that moment, you remember it clearly and recognize the golden florin. The coin used to belong to Alberico, the one-handed miller. That's right. I broke into the windmill while you slept. I looked around for anything of value, but found nothing. That is, until I decided to leave. Then I saw, just above the door, a golden florin coin. I have no idea what it is. Upon hearing the story, you are unsure how you feel. Seeing your puzzled expression, Lorenzo places the coin just within reach of your hands. Lorenzo, if you want it, it's yours. Declined the offer is what I mean, that's my first instinct. You don't want to have anything to do with it.
That's not what you did though last time.
And I didn't make it this far last time.
No. You did.
No, I didn't. The golden
Right?
florin coin last time. This is after I got out of jail. I never made it past jail last time because I died all the time before that. And that was the second play. This is the first time I've gotten to this part, but there was another part where I had an opportunity um, to get it, I thought.
There was no, you've been to this part 3 times.
No, I haven't. I've only streamed it twice.
Okay. You say so.
Mm. You're lost, said Lorenzo. Because last time um, well, the time before, the reason I had to replay to get to the jail part because I got killed was because I wouldn't give it up or something. Lorenzo, I don't think you're meant for this world, he says. It's cruel out here and unforgiving. For a moment, Lorenzo appears to be deep in thought. I would kill a man, said Lorenzo. I mean, if things got really ugly and I had no other options? Rubbing his chin, he grins. How about you? Asked Lorenzo. Oh, praying at that statue made my, because that was the first time I'd seen the statue. I think
The what?
that was the first time I'd seen the statue that he prayed at.
Oh, the first. That's because the time before you went and got the water.
Oh, okay. Could you
Wow.
take another man's life? Asked Lorenzo. See, I don't know. There's no, I mean, if my life is in danger option.
I said no.
I would kill a man equals run and hide at the first sign of combat. Holla, not Ghost. We're playing the thinking man's game. What choice would you make? Reminds me of those books I had as a teenager. If you choose this, turn to page whatever. And it's easy on my hands. I don't actually have to do any combat. I think I will go with I could not. How about even if it's to save a friend? Someone you care for is in danger, and you are the only one that can save them? You shrug off the idea. Thoughts like these used to keep me up at night, said Lorenzo. Your eyes half open, you examine the flames as they dance together to create the fire before you. You recall the priest preaching against violence and wonder if his own life had ever been in danger.
Mm-hmm. That's a yes.
Choose your own adventure books. They're called iPads now. At the gates. Finally, after camping by the roadside and feeding on wood pigeons and boiled water, you arrive at the top of a ridge and you see an impressive gathering of houses in the distance. Lorenzo, there it is, said Lorenzo, in all its mighty glory. Probably smells pretty bad too. Oh, wait, I added that part. Florence! Spreading his arms wide. You gaze in amazement at the largest city you've ever encountered. Here we can find shelter, plenty of food, and most of all, oh god, that word I hate. Uh, anonymity,
Enmities.
and I have trouble with anonymity. I always had trouble with like anonymous. I can say anonymous finally. I didn't used to. I hated trying to pronounce it. My tongue just gets tied up. Together, you walk down the slope and move closer to a massive rampart that blocks the passage to the city. Soldiers are patrolling the iron gates. What do you think? Asked Lorenzo. Surely the news of our journey hasn't reached this far. Anonymity. Now, I need that in front of me every time I have to say it, North Ghost. How are you doing, by the way? Any news from the doctor?
She talks in the way that she's reading.
Huh?
Oh, you asked how he was doing and any news from the doctor, which is the same tone that which you've been using to read.
Eh. Sometimes it just sticks around. Surely the news of our journey hasn't reached this town. I mean, how big was Florence during the plague? That I don't know. Most of my Black Death knowledge is around UK, France, maybe some Spain. Mostly England. One more week out of work. What? Dodged the ER?
ER tried to get him and he jumped out of the way.
And for those that may not know, I didn't notice it was blocking. Let me move that.
You didn't notice that heart thing was blocking the other thing?
Well, I wasn't really looking at the,
Your stats?
yeah. Well, not there. I was looking on the TV here. There we go. I was surprised when I was pointing at the morality that went up that somebody didn't point it out. Sorry about that, guys. Sometimes I gotta move things around. There we go. That is in memory of Butterbuck, who recently passed away from pancreatic cancer. I'm thinking about doing a cancer charity stream. Just don't know how long I can do one. I mean, lately I have been able to stream upwards of 10 hours, depending on what I'm doing. So I'm just trying to plan it out. Surely the new... Oh, we already read that like 4 times. Got it. We are 2 nobodies. Nobody knows me. There's nobody here. Excuse me. Look for another way into the city or proceed through the front gate. Well...
I've done both.
I think we'll try to go through. As you approach, one of the armed... I think it's missing a word. Oh, wait. As you approach, one of them, armed with a sharp spear, signals you to move forward towards him. Without a word, he examines Lorenzo from head to toe, then focuses on you. With an air of suspicion, he grants you access to the city. You walk in, followed closely by Lorenzo. Florence, Italy. Immediately, you are stunned by the impressive architecture of Florence. Streets are paved with cobblestones, and crammed houses create a strolling maze of small alleyways. The city is lively, but also you notice a few more guards patrolling the streets. Lorenzo, I have a bad feeling. I've never seen so many guards. A strange uneasiness in the air is palpable. People walk with haste, some pulling handcarts, others rolling barrels. as if they are preparing for some sort of siege. You recoil as a mischief of rats. Is that what a group of rats is called? A mischief of rats quickly passes near your feet. Uh, let's try to find supplies or at least a safe place to spend the night, says Lorenzo. I suggest we split up and meet back here around midnight. Still overwhelmed, you nod slowly. Oh, and whatever you do, says Lorenzo, don't get caught again. Nafka says they took my blood pressure and it was super high again, so they were about to call an ambulance for me, but I signed an AMA, against medical advice, form, and said I'd go if it's still high in the morning. Well, you need to learn to meditate, not the ghost. Or less salt. I'm not sure which. With those words, Lorenzo disappears into a nearby alleyway. Wait, not the ghost. They didn't offer you any, lisinopril or anything? Medication to bring it down? Also, do we secretly follow Lorenzo, which we did last time, and we got caught after that, trying to leave where we followed him? Or take your own path. We know what he did on his own last time. A guard let him in a house whose owners had died to look for stuff. So, I mean, he didn't even say where we're supposed to meet back at, but I learned anything last time. Following him can bring me trouble, but I can also get in trouble on my own. Let's see how much we can get in on our own. Oh no, my brother's laughing. You start walking and blend with the small crowd as best you can. You pass a house with the windows open and on the ledge, 3 loaves of black bread are airing in the sun. What is black bread? Let's go look this up now.
It's a type of bread.
What kind of bread?
It's
Is it
black.
like rye bread?
I don't know. It could just be burnt bread for all we know.
Hang on. I have the power of the internet.
Black bread.
Safari! Google.
Don't forget to put the reference of town and time.
Black bread refers to several different types of bread, from the kind typical in northern Italy, often recommended for those following a diet low in calories, to the new trend of including charcoal in the dough, reducing intestinal gas and giving a distinct dark color to the loaf, hence black. I put Italy, but I didn't put the time period. What was black bread history? Let's look at that. Huh. Well, that references Russia. Historically, black bread was rye.
wow, it's getting kind of cold in here. A little surprised.
Why, where are you?
Montgomery?
Alabama?
Yep.
Never been to Alabama.
Oh,
One
I'm
of
here a lot.
one of the states.
One of the 4 states in our country.
I've been in the nearby states, but never there. In Italy during.
Today was the first time I'd actually seen nice houses. Right. Oh yeah,
During the
yeah.
Renaissance, that would be around that time period. During the Renaissance, bakeries were considered the epicenter of many large towns.
Or you could just look at the Black Plague time frame.
Oh, the Renaissance came after the Black Plague.
I got Dre into multiplayer farm simulator.
You got her into multiplayer what?
Farm sim?
Oh, okay. Oh, maybe we'll stream that tomorrow or something. Bread in the Middle Ages.
I can't connect to my server today. That's Alabama.
Rye. Sometimes they made bread out of rice, peas, lentils, chestnuts, acorns.
Charcoal.
In medieval France, most people would eat a type of bread known as meslin, which was made from a mixture of wheat and rye. He found records from England, France, and Italy that um, workmen, soldiers, and even patients in hospitals were expected or supposed to get about 2 pounds of bread per day. That's a lot of bread.
It was their main staple, and you didn't eat it like really quick, because it's usually really hard.
Yeah, used it instead of a fork.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's common rye bread, black rye bread, and besides using bread just for food, medieval people often used it as their plates. Known as trenchers, these were breads that were cut into thick, flat slices. Then other foods like meats or thick sauces would be served on top of them. Once the meal was finished, the bread could then be eaten, or if you were wealthy or generous enough, was given to the poor or to the animals. Bread is a key part of the Christian religion. See if there's anything else here, just skimming.
Boiling just a little bit. Though it's good information to look for. But
That first article I was reading, though, that apparently putting a piece of charcoal in it will keep you from farting because of the fermenting, which is what causes it to rise. which is why I'm not supposed to eat bread anymore. The yeast. How to ask for bread with your hands. The Benedictine monastery of Cluny had strict rules against talking in parts of the monastery or during particular times of the day. The monks still had to communicate with each other, and they developed a sophisticated form of sign language. An 11th century text describing the Cluniac Sign Language reveals that they had a rich vocabulary related to food, including these references to bread. For the sign of bread, make a circle with the thumb and its two adjacent fingers because bread is customarily round. You mean they didn't make it in loaf form? It was made round? Well, the picture shows it round. For the sign of bread, which is cooked in water and which is better than that served on most days, after making the general sign for bread, place the palm of one hand over the outside of the other as if oiling or wetting. For the sign of marked bread, which is commonly called torta, after making the general sign for bread, make a cross through the middle of the palm because bread of this type is generally divided into quarters. Ooh. There is a disease you can get from eating rotten rye bread. I'm not going to try and pronounce the entire name, but it's also known as ergot, E-R-G-O-T. While it was easy to spot the signs of the fungus in rye, it turned the grain black and waxy. People did not correlate this with the disease. Others may have suspected that the unusual colored rye could cause problems, but did not want to waste the grain that took months to grow. Victims would suffer from hallucinations, insanity, vomiting, and gangrene of the hands and feet due to constriction of blood flow to the extremities. Those afflicted felt as if they were being burned at the stake as their fingers and toes split open and dropped off one by one. A late medieval chronicler wrote of an invisible fire that separated the flesh from the bones and consumed it. Uh, it is said that 40,000 people in northern Germany were killed by the disease in the year 994. In the 11th century, a group of lay people created an order to take care of people afflicted by the disease. I mean, was it survive? I wouldn't say it was survivable. So, there's no. Is there a treatment now, maybe? The disease became known as St. Anthony's Fire when in the 11th century group of lay people created an order to take care of people afflicted by the disease. They declared St. Anthony of Egypt to be the patron saint. Although ergotism is much rarer in the modern world, outbreaks have occurred in less developed countries even in recent years. Huh. Little history about bread there for you guys. Acorn bread. What does that taste like? Why is the let's sneak around, the parents won't find us music playing? Oh, brown like cheese wheels, said Moose. Yeah, I got to thinking, while I was reading some of that, they didn't have the metal bread pans that we do now. So, of course, they would be round. I watch a lot of another channel, Townsend. They do a lot of 18th century cooking in America, and he made his own clay oven. And yes, all of his loaves are round because basically they just lump it all together, kind of make it circular, and then put it in the oven. That's it. Malthus. It was made round because that was the only warm thing these monks would be touching. Alright. Steal a loaf of bread, which affects our morality. Might lower our morality, but it might increase our health, or continue walking. Remember, we've never stolen. Oh, it's still covering that up. Dang it. No, I want that. Thank you. Uh-oh, I hear a cat coming. That'll do. Okay. What do you think, guys? He's probably hungry. They've been surviving on just water and pine bark, and I have no idea what those pigeons were that what they called them. They had a weird name for them. Keep walking. All right, Moose. Suddenly, you notice a patrol coming your way. You quickly duck into an alleyway. Ooh, we would have gotten caught. You start to run, avoiding as much as you can the filth on the slippery ground. You step on a particularly moist area, lose your balance, and fall awkwardly on your rear and slide for a few meters. Lying in the filth, you realize this alleyway is used mostly to empty chamber pots. As you get up to your feet, you smell disgusting. Oh, you decide it's time to leave the alleyway. God is watching. Leaving the alleyway, you find yourself facing an old church. As a few beggars and poor townsfolk crowd the steps of the holy structure, you understand this church serves people of great misfortune. A woman carrying a child exits the church, leaving the door ajar. Propelled by curiosity and a spiritual calling, you creep in. The candlelit church interior is almost bare of any art and ornaments, apart from a dozen hung paintings and a large cross erected behind a stone altar. As your footsteps echo and disturb the holy silence, a few praying worshippers glance at you with disapproving faces. Poo poo. I need a drink just a second. Okay. Trying to avoid their gaze, you walk towards a wide painting which illustrates a mountain, a gathering of the faithful, and crosses. In a dark recess, you notice a confession booth. You walk over and discover a copper box held shut by a metal lock. Having no coins to give, you decide to uh, now their choices. decent. Disregard this donation box, you don't have any money. Or steal the donation box. Probably doesn't have much in it if it serves the poor. My choice would be to disregard the donation box. What do you think, chat? My logic is that since it's a church that serves the poor don't have much to give. That it will probably be empty or close to it. The reason we're playing this today is I worked on putting together part of my sewing desk yesterday. Got about halfway done. Husby's helped with the last. I have trouble with the cam bolts, cam nuts, whatever they're called. Pushing them in the holes and getting them lined up for the bolts. But the next part's going to be the even heavier part. It's the measuring piece that goes on top, and it's on 2 panels that are super thick. Oh, did I accidentally move? Well, I'm waiting for an answer from chat. Yeah, the counter got moved. Yeah, there we go. Move it over there. There we go. Disregard. Alright, Moose. You walk past the donation box, and as you're about to enter the confession booth, a bulky man blocks your passage. Uh-oh. You quickly divert your trajectory and sit on one of the many empty benches. In silence, you bow your head, bring your hands together in prayer, and think of your journey so far. Oh no! Shit, I accidentally double-clicked. As you lift up your gaze, you look at the bare cross behind the altar, and a sense of peace washes over you. Sorry, guys. There's no way for me to go back one. After a while, you leave the church and head over to the nearby plaza. Keeping your head low, you pass a few shops, turn into a larger street, and finally arrive onto a city plaza. In the distance, you notice a small commotion. Rats! In a far corner, peasants are gathering around a young girl who is having a fit of rage. Rats have cornered the poor child, and her attempt to scare them off has failed. Okay, now I remember this part. Oh, last time I put the florin coin in the church. If I remember her. Maybe not. For some strange reason, the sight of rats scares the living hell out of everyone, and not a soul attempts to help the girl. Look for a weapon or rescue the girl from the rats. Well, I don't remember what I did last time. Driving home. Alright, Moose. Safe driving. Anybody else in chat want to take a chance? Make a choice? Oh, we're missing Mikey. He usually watches this. Oh, going to the church really raised my morality. Too bad my health is getting lower. I wouldn't survive the rat attack, I don't think. I mean, if we die, it just puts us back a little ways and we try again. Nobody? Well, if I look for a weapon, it might take too long. But can I defend off the rats by myself with no weapon? What does that mean, Scott? I was at a church. Look for a weapon? Okay. While rats start to climb on the girl's dress, you frantically search the plaza for some kind of weapon. On your left, you spot an old man leaning on a crooked wooden cane. In the corner of your eye, you see more rats attacking the girl as she cries out in horror. You grab the cane and swiftly strike one of the largest rats violently. It lets out an ear-piercing scream, scaring off the other rats, or at least make them hesitant to attack you. You get closer to the girl and notice black patches around her neck and forearms. Those are the clear signs she's infected by the same disease that killed your parents. Oh. Did anybody ever survive it? Maybe. I doubt it in that time period. But if you save the girl, you risk getting it yourself. She has the plague. There was no cure at the time. She needs medical attention, but is she going to be able to have it? That's wrong. I want the chair removed. Yes, the Black Plague killed a shit ton of people. But if we try to save her, we risk getting the Black Plague ourselves. And leaving her to die will affect our morality. Yes, it was more contagious. I mean, the video game logic in me goes, she's going to die anyways. Right? She's already doomed. Save yourself. You move away and watch the scene unfold. Rats bite and scratch the young girl's naked feet. They climb up her blood-dripping dress as she struggles to fight them off. She falls to the ground, hysterical. Overwhelmed by their sharp teeth and incessant assault, the girl passes out. More rats appear from the darkest corners of the plaza and crawl towards her. Having seen enough, you cover your eyes, but the gut-wrenching screams chill your bones. This is surely the most horrendous thing you've witnessed in your life. Rhythmic footsteps approach, and you notice guards heading your way. You duck quickly into the nearest alleyway and start running until you feel far enough from the unforgiving plaza. Dusk to dawn curfew. As the night falls, flickering lamps appear In the distance, as a thin layer of wood smoke fills the air, at the edge of a tall church, a watchman in a thick leather coat rings an iron bell and calls out, "Night curfew!" Far away, you hear the distinct crack of doors and shutters closing shut. Soon the streets are bare, except for a few rats scrambling along the houses or crawling deep in the gutters. As the watchman heads in your direction, you notice a drunk walking aimlessly in the alleyway. Suddenly, he lowers his trousers and starts to take a leak against a wall. As the slow glow of the watchman's lantern edges towards the alley, you need to act quickly. You could push the drunkard into the street to cause a distraction and flee, or you could hide in the shadows. It's horrible, but it's just a video game. Yeah. What would you have done if you'd been there? I think last time I did try to save her. Because now I remember where I'm at. Sorry, brother. I thought I was well past this, but I wasn't. Forgot I had restarted the chapter. I don't remember really which one of these I chose last time, but I do remember whichever one it was ended me up in jail. Yeah, you don't want to be anywhere near it. And you could have gotten bitten by the rats and got it from them. One was spread by rats, I believe, and one was spread by fleas. There was actually two black plagues. Or it could have been the fleas on the rats. Oh, let's hide in the shadow. Noticing armed men with the watchman, you quickly hide in the shadows. The soldiers pull at a few door handles, confirming each has been locked. Curfew! As the drunk finishes relieving himself, he starts walking towards the street but trips over a dark mass. As the watchman edges closer, you discover the dark mass is a dead dog. The drunk is swiftly surrounded by the watchman and a few guards. The altercation turns violent as they arrest him. One of the guards peers into the darkness and spots you. Well, last time I tried to flee and I got caught. The fleas also bit humans. The Black Plague was spread by fleas that bit the rats and transferred to humans. Yep. There was two periods of it though. It waxed and it waned, just like all diseases. Except for this one can't mutate. I guess surrender. Because I know last time I tried to flee. Not taking any chances, you decide to surrender to the authorities. A debt. The guards bring you to the city's guardhouse, where you are escorted along a dark and humid corridor to meet with the commander of the city guard. As you enter his chamber, the commandante, a broad-shouldered man with a chiseled face, barely acknowledges your presence. With a stern look on his face, he turns his attention to a document before him and starts writing. Bodies shall not be removed from the place of death until they have been enclosed in a wooden box, and the lid closed and kneel down. Impatient, one of the guards moves forward, but as he opens his mouth, the commander lifts an authoritative finger and orders him to be silent. Stay silent. Sheepish, the guard steps back as the commander continues to write. Each grave shall be dug 2.5 arms lengths deep. Any person attending a funeral shall not accompany the deceased further than the door of the church. The commander takes a deep breath so that the sounds of bells doesn't trouble or frighten the sick. No bells are to be rung during funerals. Yeah, that'd be a lot of bell ringing. Satisfied, the man puts down his pen and finally turns his attention to you. Of course, this won't apply to the burials of knights, doctors, and judges. Yep, the rich always win. As the guards nod in agreement, the commander locks his priggish eyes on you and winces. We cannot have vagrants roaming the streets of the great Repubblica di Florence. However you say it, I do not speak Italian. Especially in times like these. Where do you come from, boy? Florence? Or a small town in Tuscany? Oh, decisions. See, if you lived in Florence, you'd have had a home to go to, not instead of being out on the street. And they likely know that the Black Death started in a small town in Tuscany. Well, well, seems we're at bit of a quandary. How about also if you're from Florence, then others would know who you are. Um, tell them a small town in Tuscany. Tuscany? Asked the commandante. I need a drink. My mouth is dry. There we go. Commandante. Then you must be aware of the disease sprawling all over the countryside. Surely you have seen the results of this abomination. The death, the suffering. Tell the truth. That's what I was afraid of. Probably told him about his parents. You understand then, we cannot let you walk freely in our streets. The commander leans back into this chair. I don't play well with others, and I have no tolerance for lies, says the commandante. This is why I was elected to be the commander of the city guard. I will ask you one last question, and if a lie crosses your lips, I will have you executed. Have I made myself clear? Asked the commandante. Terrified, you nod. Did you enter the city by yourself, or were you accompanied? Oh, well, he told you not to lie, and guards saw you come in. So confess you were traveling with a friend. As you confess of entering the city with another boy, the commander's face turns to stone. Send some men to locate his friend and bring him back to me. It shall be done, says the soldier. I picked the wrong one, Scott. YouTube's a little bit slower than Twitch for getting the answer. Very well. The commander folds up the document he was working on and leans forward over his desk. We are giving hefty fines to drifters and vagrants. But it's obvious to anyone that sees you, you could not afford to pay such a fine. We could have him clean up the streets, offered a soldier. In some alleyways, we are knee deep in uh putrid matter. The commander snorts, then reconsiders. That's not a bad idea, though. We have a few peasants who could be exhorted to do so. Which reminds me, the commander picks up his pen and unfolds the document and starts drafting again. Citizens shall be responsible to remove all putrid matter and infected persons from which might arise a corruption or infection of the air. You shake your head as you witness the guard beaming with satisfaction. As for you, boy, and your carelessness, I should send you to our dungeons. Ooh, that's a death sentence. But I think I have a better idea. Oh boy. The commander grins as he looks over to his guards. Perhaps you could do a favor for this great city. The commander leans forward, ready to share with you a great secret. Many people are dying within our walls. Fathers, mothers, children. You see, diseases do not discriminate. At night, we gather all of the dead bodies from the rich and the poor and carry them to a large pit outside the walls of the city. The commander rubs his chin for a few moments before a guard raises his voice. I bet some of them had coin in their pockets. Maybe even some expensive rings on their fingers, or a golden necklace around their neck. The commander smirks. Maybe even a golden necklace, he agrees with the soldier. You see, I don't want to risk the soul of my men and have them steal from the dead, you see. It just doesn't feel right. But if a boy from out of town, a vagrant, reminds the soldier. A vagrant, says the commandante. If a vagrant would do this deed, well, perhaps he could buy his freedom back. The commander leans back into his chair with a smug look on his face. What do you say, boy? Says the commandante. Well, I say loot the dead. You chose wisely, says the commandante. The guards grab you by the shoulders and take you outside the city. Grave diggers and grave robbers. As night creeps in, A gentle mist appears outside the city walls. Faint flickering torches can be seen in the darkness circling a large mud pit that is at least 20 feet deep and 2 times as wide. Oh, belly dancing has been canceled for the rest of the year. It'll start back up again January 3rd. Our teacher had a blocked artery and they had to do a procedure to put a stent in place, and her doctor will not likely release her back to exercising until around the 1st of January. So that's what happened with classes and the teacher. Using large wooden shovels, grave diggers cover day old cadavers with a fresh layer of lime. The guards take you to the mouth of the pit, where the stench is quite strong. I mean, he already smells. He's already been in the poo poo, as Moose said. How could he tell the difference? Although death, I've heard, I don't know, but I've heard, has a distinct smell. You try not to puke, as one of the guards grins back at you. Nobody told you it would smell like roses. There must be hundreds of corpses down there, which means hundreds of pockets to plunder. The guard signals over one of the grave diggers. Take a rope and tie him up at the waistline. Immediately, the grave digger fetches a large rope and ties it around your waist. Now, you go down there and do your work, said the soldier. And don't get any fancy ideas, or we'll cut your neck in half. With that, the guard pushes you over the cliff as you are hoisted down to the bottom of the pit. Over your head, the ring of torches illuminates the walls and ground, and soon you find yourself standing in a field of corpses. The putrid smell of decay is unbearable. Rip your sleeve to create a mouth mask or begin looting the corpses. Well, I think I would make a mouth mask. You remember seeing the doctor wearing a mask over his mouth when tending the sailors. You rip part of your sleeve off and wrap it around your head to cover your mouth and nose. Careful where you walk, said the soldier in a sing-song voice. You wouldn't want to fall face first in those remains. You choose your footing carefully and begin to search around you. Search for the cadavers wearing quality coats, or search the cadavers with fancy boots. Well, what were more expensive? When they say fancy boots. I mean, all their clothes were custom made back then. What says you, chats? I will wait. Oh, I'm losing people. It must be time for bed for people. It is midnight where I'm at. Well, I know what I got last time when you did it for quality coats. So I think we'll do that as soon as I finish pouring my Sprites into my cup. I was smart and brought some extra can today. Oh, stylus. Alright. Cadavers wearing quality coats. You inspect the pockets of a few well-dressed cadavers, but find nothing. You decide to go deeper into the pit. Crossing over a mess of entangled remains, you notice a hand sticking out. Oh, Moose. Oh, I'm sorry. I tried to wait for as long as I could, but I wasn't hearing anything. The fingers are covered in jewelry. Carefully, you lift the man's hand and start taking off the jewelry. 2 rings come off easily, but 2 others won't budge. Pull as hard as you can, or search somewhere else. If you pull as hard as you can on the deceased, then it's likely it will come loose. The hand, I mean, depending on how long it's been down there. And you could end up flying into a whole pile of cadavers. So instinct tells me somewhere else. But I will try to wait and see if Moose says anything, or Bixler. I wish I could go back and make a different choice. That's how we ended up redoing the entire chapter, though. Because I reset it. Search somewhere else. Okay. You move away from the decaying hand and start to look elsewhere when you feel a strong tug on the rope around your waist. You almost lose your balance. Ooh, they trying to kill me or something? Come on, boy, says the soldier. We don't have all night. You look back angrily at the guards and gravediggers when they burst out laughing. You pull on the rope, giving yourself some slack, and walk over to a woman wearing a very large petticoat. As many of the corpses, she's in really bad shape. No teeth, glassy dead eyes, skin as pale as chalk. I know this one because this is what I did last time. You look under the petticoat. You lift up the petticoat carefully, averting your eyes. Underneath it, you find a small string purse filled with coins. Putting the purse around your neck, you move a safe distance from the corpses. All right, let's get them out of there. The gravediggers pull on the rope and hoist you out of the pit. As soon as you reach safer grounds, the guard extends his hand with an arrogant smile on his face. In his other hand, you notice a dagger. Give him the whole loot, nothing but the loot. Offer only the purse. Pretend you didn't find anything. Well, he was probably watching you real close. I would probably give him the whole loot. Because you know he was watching. Because, he was making fun of you when you're pulling the rings off the hand. I don't know how far the distance is, though. So it might have been his back was to them, they couldn't see anything. Yes, yuck. What do you say, chat? Do we have a death wish? Yes, 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 what? Oh, Moose just went live. Atlas Galacticus! You're hero of the Atlas, savior of the galaxies, and part of the No Man's Sky community has just arrived. Hello, welcome, Atlas Galacticus. We're back playing the death game, haha. Give it all, says Moose and Scott. Alright, give the loot. You hand over the purse and the rings to the guard. He grins and grabs the loot from your hands, Mr. Grabby Man. He gives you a suspicious look, tucks away his dagger, and lets you get out of the pit. Whew, we live for another night. As the guards escort you back towards the barracks, you come across a man lying in the street. Recognizing the deceased, the guard punches his buddy in the shoulder with delight. Hey, I know that man, says the soldier. That's one of the merchants that sells all those fancy fabrics. Without a blink, he motions you to go examine the man's pockets. With sharp spears at their sides, you have no choice but to follow the command. You walk closer to the dead man, and as you bend over to pick the pockets of his coat, you notice the guards are far behind you. If you wanted to flee, this could be your chance. Well, I know my brother tried to flee, and it did not end well. I don't know, Moose. It said 2 minutes ago, Moose Gaming, Elder Scrolls Online, let's push some buttons. Ah, it says starting soon if I click on it. Did I never put it on live chat? How are you doing tonight, Atlas Galacticus? And what do you think, chat? Should we pick the pockets or flee? Although I did tell you that my brother died last time when he tried to flee. YouTube is being weird again. When is YouTube not weird? Haha. It's sitting there with starting soon. And the moose spinning in the circle. Pick the pockets? Okay. You tap over the pockets of the coat and trousers and locate a hard lump. That's good to hear, Atlas Galacticus. Fetching inside the coat, you find a black leather wallet and hand it over to the guards. Pleased, the guard hands it to his partner. Good boy. Was that this morning? Huh. Yeah, YouTube's being really weird. Seems you were meant for this type of work, says the soldier. The guard pats you on the back as they proceed to escort you back to the Commandante. Only thing is, it didn't say. It just said for me at bedtime. I don't know why it just popped up now if it was this morning. Twitch has been doing that too. Somebody came into my stream a couple days ago and said that they didn't get the notification until 4 hours in. And I'll be watching somebody stream, and Twitch will pop up that they're streaming. Like it just put it out. So they're both acting weird. At the barracks, you are led once again in the dark corridors to the Commandante's quarters. As you walk in, the commander folds away a document and turns his attention to his guards. The guard drops the loot on the table and walks to the back of the chamber. You notice the black leather wallet you just took from the wealthy merchant is missing. Using a thin blade, the commander rummages through the findings. These are but mere trinkets, not worthy of my time or the time of my men. After those words, the commander motions to his guards to seize you. Throw him to the dungeon. Maybe there he can learn to become a better thief. Well, maybe, don't look in the poor sections of the graves. If he lasts the night. Last time ratting out the guard got me killed, so we're gonna plead for our life. You plead to the commander to spare your life and promise to never set foot again in the city if he sets you free. Commandant, okay, sorry, I don't know that. Throw him out of the city, says the commandant. He already wasted enough of our time. I've been sitting here saying it for half an hour. Two guards grab you by the shoulders and escort you to the city gates. Before you realize what's happening, one of the guards pushes you into the dirt. If I see you again, I'll take you personally to the dungeons. Well, they use both interchangeably, apparently, because on the way there, they're saying we're taking you back to the commander. But then, when he's talking, it says the commandant. Dazed, you watch the guards walk away. What are you doing with your butt in the dirt? Asks Lorenzo. You look up and see Lorenzo waiting for you by a large tree. You don't look like you brought back any food or water or that you found any shelter. I looked for you all night, Happily, Lorenzo lends you a hand and pulls you to your feet. Thought you might be rotting in that cruel Florence dungeon, said Lorenzo. Lorenzo looks at the gates of the city where guards are now standing. Well, better not stay here too long, says Lorenzo. Let's head for the coastline. Treacherous roads. You enter a nearby forest and soon you're surrounded by tall pine trees. A dirt road leads west and Lorenzo takes the lead. Suddenly you hear horse hooves beating the rough dirt path behind you. You turn around to find a fist bashing against your forehead. You fall to the ground as 3 riders in boiled leather armor surround you and Lorenzo. Pulling out a sword, the leader of the group asks for all your possessions. Negotiate or flee. Alright, now I haven't been this far. So what do you think? I mean, what are you gonna negotiate? I don't know. Negotiate, says Bixler. Alright. You open your satchel and only find your old ragged linen. As you start to explain you have nothing to give them, Lorenzo shakes his head. You hear some noise behind you. Suddenly, everything goes black. You wake up with a splitting headache. Dry blood stings your eyes. Your mouth is gagged by a dirty cloth, and your wrists are bound by leather shackles to the wheels of a wooden wagon. Lifting your gaze, you see Lorenzo unconscious beside you. Horses are faster than humans, this is true. Not too far away, 2 of the riders are having a conversation. You overhear how they will try to sell you off as slaves. Oh boy. After inspecting your restraints, the riders walk away and enter a rundown shelter. You think you are safe for a while, but then you see a wild boar sniffing about. No doubt the beast was lured by the scent of your blood. Oh. Listen for the riders or inspect the cart. Well, you're not going anywhere if you are bound to the cart. So, I don't know. I mean, something I would do would scream for the riders. If they want to make money off of me, they better take care of that boar, and that gets them a meal. But that's not a choice. Inspect the cart, alright? A rusted nail peeks out of the wood planks of the wagon, and after a few attempts, you rip through your gag. Oh, that's right, we were gagged. I forgot about that. Look over at the rider's shelter or bite off the leather bands on your hands. I feel like I might have skipped something. I need the ability to go back one. In case I click too much by accident. Thank you, Atlas. I received it from Moose, who I believe made it. Bite off the bonds. Did I read that as... It's at the bottom of the TV and a little difficult for me to see. I was taking a guess. Using your teeth, you bite and chew on the restraints around your wrists. Looking up, you realize one of the riders is just beside you. Oh, shit. He takes out a mace and painfully lands a powerful blow on your hand. crushing your bones. Tales of the Dark, or Tales of the, hang on, my brain just went blank, of course. Tales of the Black Death. It's about the plague. Yeah, a lot of people make games about it, apparently. Huh. Huh. Uh-huh. Huh. Satisfied with himself, the writer leaves you with your pain. Sadly, the leather is too hard. The wild boar notices you and goes into a charging stance. Ah, shit. Knowing these beasts are unpredictable when they are frightened, you move carefully. You need to think of something quick. Kick the beast or soak your restraints in blood. I mean, you've already got a broken hand. Yes, The Plague's Tale was a Switch game. I have that one too. I also have one based on one of my favorite book, Pillars of the Earth. I got that for free on Epic. Oh, finally got that finger to pop. Yay. Um, I don't know that kicking the beast is going to do you much good. Although soaking your restraints in blood might work. I don't know though. I never tried it. And I mean, kicking the beast is more likely to piss him off. Oh, I should have given him my empty can. Soak. Alright, miss. You rub the leather restraints to your forehead until they are dripping with blood. Attracted by the I always have trouble with that word too. Smell of the strong smell of blood, the wild boar rushes to you, but focuses his sharp teeth on your leather shackles. It only takes a few bites for his powerful jaws to cut through the straps. Once you are free, you throw the leather straps far away. To your luck, the beast follows the bloody restraints into the forest. As you manage to damage... I clicked too long again. It seems that if I hold the button too long, it clicks through. Dang it. Anyways, as you manage to damage a thick part of the leather, you notice one of the riders heading towards you. Ow! Before you have time to react, he lands a mighty blow to your chest, knocking you down violently to the ground. Seeing Lorenzo regaining consciousness and starting to pull at his restraints, the rider reaches for his knife and walks closer to him. Well, how would we like to die this time? we survived the boar to only have trouble with the rider again. Distract. Yeah, 'cause you're hurt pretty good, aren't you? You took a mace to the hand, crushing the bones. You also got knocked out by a blow to the head, and then you took a mace to the chest without wearing any armor. Dang, our health is so low. Distract. You yell out to the rider a few obscenities to divert his attention. The distraction works, and the man turns towards you. Knife in hand, he approaches menacingly. Terrified, you try to crawl away, but the rider is much faster than you. He grins as he places his blade inches from your face. Just as he is about to cut you, Lorenzo appears behind him and smashes down a large rock on the man's head. Oof. Crack. The sound of his skull splitting in half sends shivers down your spine. I think I killed him, says Lorenzo. We have to get out of here. At that moment, the two other riders come out of the shelter. Without hesitation, you run off into the bushes, closely followed by Lorenzo. You choose a path where branches are thick and are sure to slow down the riders. You run until your muscles ache, until you can no longer run. Lorenzo collapses next to you, then crawls to a nearby tree stump. I'm exhausted, said Lorenzo. I think we're safe here for the night, maybe? Said Lorenzo. As you lie down on the cold grass, you realize you've lost the ragged linen you've been using as a makeshift bed. Still traumatized by the violent scene, you wonder if you will be able to sleep. You think we killed that rider, don't you? Asks Lorenzo. You answer with a heavy sigh. Yes. People dying from a disease is something, said Lorenzo. Crashing a rock onto a man's skull and splitting it wide open. That's something else altogether. In your mind, you play the scene over and over and over again. We had to defend ourselves, right? Asked Lorenzo. I mean, if we didn't fight back, we'd be dead too, right? You nod silently as you recall the sound of the cracking skull. In the distance, you hear the sound of crashing waves as a salty breeze fills your nostrils. Oops, didn't mean to hit my mic there. Well, they were heading for the shore. They got there. Lorenzo hears it too. We are near the coast. Let's just make it through the night. Finally, you fall asleep. A cold and humid wind bites at you all night. Wake up, Balthazar, says Lorenzo. As you open your eyes, Lorenzo comes out of the forest. I didn't find anything to eat around here. Let's head for the closest city, or else we're going to starve to death, he sighs. As you start strapping your boots, Lorenzo places his hand on your forehead. Uh-oh, I just noticed a new marker. Geez, are you feeling ill? I just saw this. Means I have an upset stomach. Possibly from being hit in the chest with a mace? And my health has dropped. This meant you were a little injured. Or this means injury. I thought it meant bonds, but it means injury. You're as white as a ghost. You push away his hands and stand up. As the blood rushes to your head, a wave of dizziness passes through your whole body. Clearly, you've caught some sort of illness. Oh boy. Bleak Harbor. Seagulls circle the harbor and half a dozen anchored boats sway back and forth on the foamy sea. On the docks, a few wooden stalls offer exotic goods. Others sell fish, oysters, and clams. As peddlers deal their goods with the locals, you understand people here are oblivious to the tragedies taking place in Florence. Oh, so the plague hasn't reached this part yet. Look at those boats, says Lorenzo. Don't you just want to set sail into the unknown? He asked. You shrug at the question with a faint smile. After scanning the pier, Lorenzo walks into the crowd. You follow his every step. He stops near a herring stand and looks straight at you. This time, let's stick together, he says. So I don't end up looking for you for half the night. Again. Lorenzo hints at the drying fish on the stand. If you want to survive in this world, he says, you have to learn to bend the rules. And if that means taking coins from a blind man, then that's what that means. Agree with Lorenzo or disagree with Lorenzo? Atlas Galacticus. Ooh, that was painful. Being hit on the skull by a rock seems very painful and terrible at the same time. Goodness. Yes, but remember, the riders had already hit you in the head. They had also crushed the bones in your hand, one of your hands, with a mace, and hit you in the stomach with the mace. You had the Black Plague because the riders must have had it, or you got infected when you were around the dead people. Well, no, if I had the plague, it would be a little virus symbol up here. It's been there before. This means it's something that is curable. I'm going to agree with Lorenzo this time. Realizing Lorenzo has survived for so long by himself, you slowly nod. Still deep inside, you feel conflicted. I knew you'd agree, said Lorenzo. Lorenzo takes out a piece of sun-dried fish he stole just a few moments ago at the fish stand and gives you half. Famished, you eat it all in one gulp. Between two merchant caravans that are selling various vegetables, Lorenzo spots an old tavern. See that building? That's where we need to go, said Lorenzo. Together you cross the busy plaza and stop at the door of the tavern. Peering over the entrance, you notice a large wooden sign that reads, oh boy. Remember, I don't speak Italian. Osteria Vigia de Pielo. Or, I got something when I was in all that poop in the alley. The old tavern of Pablo. Lorenzo gives you a smirk. Did you ever pickpocket a highborn? Lorenzo, you know he's never done any of that. You've already asked him. You're about to reply with the details of your night in Florence when Lorenzo enters the tavern. Oh no, here we go. Intrigued, you follow behind him. Well, okay, you have picked the pocket of a highborn. They were dead in with a mass of other bodies, so I don't think that really counts. Drunkard deceit. Wait, drunkard deceit, or should that be drunken deceit? The dark and smoky tavern reeks of sweat and ale. A warm fireplace illuminates one side of the room, and at every table men are cursing, drinking, and debating in all matters. In the low mutter of drunken conversations, the word pestilence seems to rise above all the others. Ooh. The rowdy drunks toast to their misfortunes and bless the ale in their hands. Lorenzo scans the room, then pushes his pointy elbow into your side. That tall, skinny guy over there by the bar? As he nods his head. Nice clothing he's got there. Be a shame if something were to happen to it. Wait, sorry, that was a meme. A neat haircut. Surely, he must have more than just a few coins lining his pockets. You spy the well-dressed patron as he pushes away yet another empty glass in front of him. If we can get some of those coins, we could buy a warm meal. Maybe even find boarding for the night. Wouldn't you enjoy the comfort of a nice bed, if only for one night? You cannot help but smile at the idea. After his fifth drink, the lad pushes all the empty glasses far from him, then wobbles his way. I understand, Atlas. Then wobbles his way across the room to the door at the rear of the tavern. Since I've been doing all the heavy lifting, this one's yours. What, Lorenzo? You're gonna send a man with one crushed hand to pickpocket? And he's never done it before? Oh boy. He really wants to die. It's your chance to prove yourself. What? Oh, I don't have a choice. Determined, you take the lead and walk to the back of the tavern. As you exit through the back door, you find the well-dressed drunk relieving himself in the alleyway. You walk towards the man silently and manage to grab hold of his purse. Just as you start to pull the purse away, the man grabs your wrist. See? How dare you stealing from a nobleman? Says the nobleman. I'll have you arrested and... Click, clack, clang, locked up. Lorenzo quickly appears behind you. Let go of my friend, he says. Feeling outnumbered, the drunken nobleman starts fidgeting. Let's not get rough here. I'll play you for it. I'll ask you a riddle, and if you can solve it well, I'll give you my purse. You look behind you at Lorenzo. He winks at you with a grin. You nod to the nobleman, accepting his offer. When young, I am sweet in the sun. When I am middle-aged, I make you joyful. Sorry, I don't do pretend drunk very well. When I'm old, I am valued more than ever. What am I? Hmm. Sweet in the sun when they're young. Valuable when they're old. And I forgot the middle one. Well, chat. Solve the riddle. A dog, wine, or boots? Ah, wine. It's wine. I know it's wine. Sweet when they're young. Probably sour when they're middle, but valuable when they're old. YouTube, are you lying this time, or did Moose really go live? I'm gonna go with wine. Anybody else? Well then. Yeah? Alright. Let's do it then, Atlas. The nobleman looks at you and frowns. Uh-oh. Wine is it, says the noble. You're much more clever than you appear to be. The nobleman looks at his hand holding your wrist and whimpers. Mm, fine. Keep have my money. I don't need it where I'm going anyway. Defeated, the nobleman hands over his purse. After stumbling on his own foot, the man walks off into the darkness of the courtyard. You walk into a deserted plaza and reach the front door of an inn. This place will do perfectly, says Lorenzo. But I have an idea, said Lorenzo. Let me go in. I'll negotiate a price. Pick a room on the far side. I'll come and get you after. Just don't stand here in plain sight. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You nod in agreement, and as Lorenzo enters the inn, you make your way to the nearby docks. Ablaze. An orange glow appears over the harbor, and as you step out of a back alley, you are stricken by a petrifying sight. The sails of a mighty merchant vessel have caught on fire, and the flames are spreading to the large masts. On the docks, 3 archers stand in perfect alignment in front of a fire pit. Suddenly, a 4th man comes out of the shadows. With his commanding stature and clean uniform, there is no mount. This man is the Capitano di Porto, the Harbour Master. Clenching his fists, he considers the merchant ship as it drifts away from the pier. On my command, says the Capitano di Porto. The archers dip their arrows into the fire and prepare to aim at the fleeing vessel. Knock. Draw. Loose. In flawless synchronization, the archers release their flaming arrows. You look on in amazement as 3 fiery arrows traverse the harbor and land on the deck of the boat. Shouts emerge out of the darkness as bright orange flames begin to devour the wooden deck. A group of onlookers gather on the docks to witness the tragedy. Accustomed to keeping bystanders informed, the Capitano di Porto turns his attention to them. The vessel is rumored to have sailed from the port city Kappa. We discovered half of the crew was sick. Sailors and merchants were stricken by the... Okay, I don't know what a double C sound is. I tried one earlier. I'm gonna go with Gavoccioli? Something like that. I'm gonna say plague. The plague of boils. A few of the bystanders gasped at the revelation. We told them they needed to leave, but they didn't listen. That is, until we decided to use persuasive measures. You watch and dread as sailors, lit on fire, crawl off the ship's deck and into the black water of the sea. Let it serve as a warning to all the other plague-stricken sailors and merchants. As the Harbour Master turns his attention to the archers, you see a shadow drift over the open sea. Focusing your gaze, you make out a rowboat with half a dozen men heading for the docks. Clearly, they've escaped the burning ship and seek refuge. As they reach a distant ladder and start to climb up to the mainland, you notice some of the sailors are too weak to pull themselves up. Oh, go lend a hand or stay with the bystanders? Too weak to pull themselves up means they're sick. Yes, it's cruel, but they had to do unspeakable things to keep the plague at bay in some places. Yeah, Bixler, okay. Stay with the bystanders. As the 6 sailors manage to reach the docks, you realize many are too weak to climb up the ladder. Oh wait, did I read that? Others are holding back coughs as they hide behind stacks of barrels, crates, and fish nets. Noticing you near a fishmonger's gazebo, the harbor master walks over. What are you doing there, creeping in the darkness? The harbor master looks at you suspiciously. You're not from around here. Which company do you belong to? As you turn your attention from the six sailors, the harbor master takes notice of your distraction. What are you looking at, boy? You hesitate to answer. Speak up. I have no patience for meanders or oglers. Denounce the six sailors or show indifference? I'm gonna say indifference. They're sick, they're gonna spread it. They're gonna die anyways. I mean, they had enough energy to get off the boat and row. Show a difference? That's kind of what I was thinking. You silently shrug and innocently point at the burning merchant ship. As the harbor master sets his eyes on the sea, he spots a sailor dragging one of his sickly mates towards the stockpile of crates. You're going to tell me, from where you're standing, you could not see these men? If we let these men infect the population, Before the harbor master has time to finish his sentence, the sailors quickly scatter like frightened seagulls. Displeased, the man turns to you and grabs you by the shirt. Archers, take this kid to the holding cell. There is no use fighting against the strong harbor master, and soon you are placed in a damp and gloomy holding cell. After a time, some of the six sailors who also have been arrested join you in the tight room. Yeah, I was hoping the indifference one meant that you ratted them out, but it didn't. So now you're in a holding cell, a tight holding cell with plague-ridden sailors. Sick and weak from disease, most of them die before the sunrise. Yep, now I've got the plague, or something. A day passes before you witness black patches appearing on your skin. As cold shivers run through your body, you battle an incessant cough, and soon you are unable to eat or drink. Feverish and delirious, you finally pass out. You have died from the Black Death. Hey, I got an achievement. Yay. Backtrack and make wiser decisions, or restart the experience from the beginning. Well, backtrack, we'll try that first. Fleet Harbor. I need a drink real quick. Seagulls circle the harbor as half a dozen anchored boats sway back and forth on the foamy sea. On the docks, a few wooden stalls offer exotic goods, others sell fish, oysters, and clams. As peddlers deal their goods with the locals, you understand people here are oblivious to the tragedies taking place in Florence. The only place I think we could make a different decision, other than going all the way back to the Boers, and being bound to the cart, would be the last one. Maybe. Look at those boats. Don't you just want to set sail into the unknown? Says Lorenzo. You shrug at the question with a faint smile. After scanning the pier, Lorenzo walks into the crowd. You don't agree, Atlas? Or what other choices would you make? You follow his every step. He stops near a herring stand and looks straight at you. This time, let's stick together. Wait a minute. Never split the party, and then he made him wait outside while he got the room. So I don't end up looking for you half the night. Lorenzo hints at the drying fish on the stand. If you want to survive in this world, you have to learn to bend the rules. And if that means taking coins from a blind man, then that's what it means. Or is it this one, Atlas? I still have so little health. They didn't give me back any. The music is beautiful. That's why I don't have the EDM on. But it is making me a little sleepy. I just want to get through this set again. The second one, this one, I just want to make sure you want me to disagree with Lorenzo. Alright. You shake your head in silence. I knew you'd disagree, said Lorenzo. Lorenzo takes out a piece of sun-dried fish he stole just a few moments ago at the fish stand and eats it all in front of you. Your life, your choices, says Lorenzo. As you watch him gulp down the treat, your belly grumbles. Between two merchants' caravans that are selling various vegetables, Lorenzo spots an old tavern. See that building? That's where we need to go. Together, you cross the busy plaza and stop at the door of the tavern. Peering over the entrance, you notice a large wooden sign that reads Osterio Vecchia de Pablo. It's hard for me to tell if that's a B. To me, it looks like Paolo. The old tavern of Pablo. Yeah, that doesn't look like a B in Italian. Lorenzo gives you a smirk. Did you ever pickpocket a highborn? You're about to reply with the details of your night in Florence when Lorenzo enters the tavern. Intrigued, you follow behind him. Drunkard deceit. The dark and smoky tavern reeks of sweat and ale. A warm fireplace illuminates one side of the room, and at every table men are cursing, drinking, and debating in all matters. In the low mutter of drunken conversations, the word pestilence seems to rise above all the others. The rowdy drunks toast to their misfortunes and bless the ale in their hands. Lorenzo scans the room, then pushes his pointy elbow into your side. Hang on a minute. Since Lorenzo has that gold florin, why doesn't he just use that to pay for a hotel, the inn, or buy food? Because he knows getting caught with it would likely get him killed, I think. That tall, skinny guy over there by the bar, he nods his head. Nice clothing. A neat haircut. Surely he must have more than a few coins lining his pockets. You spy the well-dressed patron as he pushes away yet another empty glass in front of him. If we can get some of those coins, we could buy a warm mead. Maybe even find boarding for the night. Wouldn't you enjoy the comfort of a nice bed, if only for one night? You cannot help but smile at the idea. Sorry, I had to talk to the robot to turn the furnace down. After his fifth drink, the lad pushes all the empty glasses far from him, then wobbles his way across the room to the door at the rear of the tavern. Since I've been doing all the heavy lifting, this one's yours, says Lorenzo. It's your choice, your chance to prove yourself. Take the lead. Determined, you take the lead and walk to the back of the tavern. As you exit through the back door, you find the well-dressed drunk relieving himself in the alleyway. You walk towards the man silently and manage to grab hold of his purse. Just as you start to pull the purse away, the man grabs your wrist. How dare you stealing from a nobleman? I'll have you arrested. And click, clack, clang. Locked up. Coin Fury TV, holla! Welcome, welcome. Lorenzo quickly appears behind you. Let go of my friend, yells Lorenzo. Feeling outnumbered, the drunken nobleman starts fidgeting. How are you doing tonight, Coin Fury? Let's not get rough here, says the nobleman. I'll play you for it. I'll ask you a riddle, and if you can solve it, well, I'll give you my purse. You look behind you at Lorenzo. He winks at you with a grin. You nod to the nobleman, accepting his offer. I'm doing okay, Coin Fury. Doing an easy indie game tonight that a dev wanted me to showcase. I don't work for them, but they give me keys to some games they want kind of showcased. My hands are still aching from working on putting together just half of the sewing desk last night, so I needed something easy. And it's interesting. It's about the Black Plague. The boy up here, Baldassar, this is our morality, and this is our health. It's not doing so good. But we got good morals, tell you that much. Yeah, and it's one of those sewing desks that fold out and in, so it saves space when not in use. All the hinges and the cam locks that I put in last night, oh my god. I had to get husbands to help at the end because it was starting to get too heavy, and the next part involves a huge square of a plastic and wood measuring board. It's got a measuring grid on it. You have to lay that face down, and then you have to put what we assembled yesterday um, down on it. You assemble it all upside down. Yeah, he got the cam locks in. I was getting frustrated with those stupid round ones. You have to line up with the hole, and then the other ones that you drill in, you got to insert them and then twist it. Yeah, some of them weren't lining up properly. And I was at the end of my my string, and I had to sit. I was sitting on this. I can't sit on the floor well because I have trouble getting back up because of my hands. So I was sitting on this little kindergartner wooden chair, and oh, it just killed my hips. And then we had a plumbing emergency this afternoon, and had to clean that up and help him fix the toilet. It's just been one of those days. Atlas Galacticus. Do the riddle the same way as you did last time. So choose the second one, and if he asks you what the riddle is, select the middle one. Gotcha, Atlas. Figured that wasn't the one we got wrong. My has become G's. Yeah, I've been waiting over a month. It's been taking up the floor of my loft, so I can't get anything else done in rearranging my future workspace so I can start streaming sewing, alternating with games. Oh no, it's not done. It's only half done. We died. That's why we've already been through this part once. That's why Atlas was telling me just to go ahead and do the riddle the same. Um, Hopefully I'm gonna have to raise the funds for it. But I just raised funds for the ring splints to help my fingers, and I'm still ordering those. Yeah, I posted pictures of some of the ring splints on Twitter earlier today. Don't know if you follow me there, but it's the same. Oh, and we have commands. Who wants to hear a dad joke? What does an angry pepper do? It gets all up in your face. Jalapeno face. I like this one. Mary Lizzie gives vodka flavored Oreos to everyone. I'm your radio? Well, I'll try to make it awesome. I just don't do drunk voices very well. I'll warn you that one. This guy's drunk, and I don't do them well. And just if you want to know, the picture on the lower left of the screen is for a fellow streamer that I know from No Man's Sky. He passed away earlier this month from pancreatic cancer. He'd only known for a few months, and most of the people watching on YouTube knew him also. So it's just a memorial to him. He was a great guy. He talked me into doing a commercial for No Man's Sky. If you want to hear it, I can play it. I get embarrassed by it, but some people find it funny. Then, yeah. Thank you for helping me on that. Goodness gracious, bad typing of mine. Splish splash, I was taking a bath late one Saturday night. So the riddle is, when young, I am sweet in the sun. When I am middle aged, I make you joyful. When I am old, I am valued more than ever. What am I? Solve the riddle. The riddle is wine. The nobleman looks at you and frowns. Wine it is. You're much more clever than you appear to be. The nobleman looks at his hand, holding your wrist, and whimpers. Fine. Keep. I still think that word is wrong. Keep half. Keep have my money is maybe what it's. Yeah, have my money. I don't need it where I'm going anyway. Uh-oh. That got me thinking. What if he's from the ship? Defeated, the nobleman hands over his purse. After stumbling on his own foot, the man walks off into the darkness of the courtyard. You walk into a deserted plaza and reach the front door of an inn. This place will do perfectly, says Lorenzo. But I have an idea. Yeah, we know, you're always scheming. Just let me go in. I'll negotiate the price, pick a room on the far side, and you can just slip in through the door. Maybe, yeah, maybe he was from that ship, said Atlas. See, that's because he's talking like he's not coming back. Like, you know, I don't need money where I'm going. I remember a book like this I read, oh, so many years ago. I won't say how many, in high school. I think it was called no, not Firefly, Mayfly. I vaguely remember reading one called Mayfly. It was one of those choice books. What did North Ghost call it earlier? I don't know. I just remember you would get to the end of a scene, and then if you wanted to pick this, you'd go to this page, or if you wanted to pick something else, you'd go to that page. This is just a digital version. I just can't remember. They have a name. I just can't remember what they're called. I'll come and get you afterwards. Yeah? Just don't stand here in plain sight. You nod in agreement, and as Lorenzo enters the inn, you make your way to the nearby docks. Okay, so far, not agreeing with him back at the fish stall hasn't changed anything. At all. Ablaze. An orange glow appears over the harbor, and as you step out of a black back alley, you are stricken by a petrifying sight. The sails of a mighty merchant vessel have caught on fire. and the flames are spreading to the large mass. On the docks, 3 archers stand in perfect alignment in front of a fire pit. Suddenly, a 4th man comes out of the shadows. With his commanding stature and clean uniform, there is no doubt. This man is the Capitano di Porto, the Harbour Master. Clenching his fists, he considers the merchant ship as it drifts away from the pier. On my command! The archers dip their arrows into the fire and prepare to aim at the fleeing vessel. Knock! Draw! Loose! In flawless synchronization, the archers release their flaming arrows. You look in amazement as 3 fiery arrows traverse the harbor and land on the deck of the boat. Shouts emerge out of the darkness as bright orange flames begin to devour the wooden deck. A group of onlookers gathers on the docks to witness the tragedy. Accustomed to keeping bystanders informed, the Capitano di Porto turns his attention to them. The vessel is rumored to have sailed from the port city Kappa. We discovered half the crew was sick. Sailors and merchants were stricken by the Gavagilio. I'm going to say plague. The plague of boils. A few of the bystanders gasp at the revelation. I need sounds for these, you know, like a bunch of people gasping and stuff. We told them they needed to leave, but they didn't listen. That is, until we decided to use persuasive measures. I feel like one of those evil guys in a Bond movie just tapping their fingers together. That is, until we decided to use persuasive measures. You watch in dread as sailors, lit on fire, crawl off the ship's deck and into the black water of the sea. Let it serve as a warning to all the other plague-stricken sailors and merchants. As Harbour Master turns his attention to the archers, you see a shadow drift over the open sea. Like this? Da da da! Yeah, like that. Thank you, Atlas. Focusing your gaze, you make out a rowboat with half a dozen men heading for the docks. Clearly, they've escaped the burning ship and seek refuge. As they reach a distant ladder and start to climb up to the mainland, you notice some of the sailors are too weak to pull themselves up. Last time, we stayed with the bystanders. Chat, do you think we made the mistake here last time? If we lend a hand to the sailors, does that mean the Commander de Porto will notice? Maybe? That is our way of outing them? I am not sure. Well, for one, you don't want to, if they've got the plague, you don't want to go near them. We're trying to avoid dying again. Now that we've got the achievement for dying from the plague. Why didn't I get that one last time? Oh no, I got knifed last time. It depends. On what, Atlas? Be right back, I just need a drink. Too much talking. Me talk too much? Nah. Alright. My pain pill alarm's getting ready to go off, so I'm gonna go ahead and go and take my meds while I'm waiting for Atlas or somebody to answer. Uh-oh, looks like we might have lost somebody over on YouTube. So my logic in not helping them is because they have the plague, and touching them will give you the plague. We've learned that already. So, I mean, it depends on if the captain will notice or not, or if the captain will attack or not. Well, I mean, if our guy, Baldassar, can see them, then, and the commander and the 3 archers are on the docks, with that fire blazing and the fire they've got for the archers, I would think that they would notice anybody, but I'm trying to remember if there any choices between this one and the one that got us killed, which I think is the next one. I think. When he notices us. You know, let's try it. I mean, the worst that's going to happen is we're going to die, and we'll just have to do it again. You head to the ladder and extend your hand to help the sailors out of the boat and up the ladder. There, in the glow of the burning ship, you see most of these men are infected by the disease that is spreading around Florence and your hometown. Another choice. I think I would recoil in fear. As you recoil in fear, the Harbour Master notices you. "What's going on here?" says the Capitano de Porto. "I have commanded you all to leave the city." The Harbour Master signals to his 3 archers who, without a moment of hesitation, dip new arrows into the fire pit. Oh, plead with the Harbour Master? Who's about to set his own deck on fire? Run away. Run away! Run away! See, this is why this game it's got so much replayability. But it's not for everyone. It's just one of those games I can play when my hands ache. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows my sorrow. My instinct is, now that you've gotten the Harbour Master, that my intention was to get the Harbour Master's attention. I may have said that wrong. My brain ferrets, go away. The ferrets are out. Somebody let the ferrets out. They took my words again. My hope, I'm just going to use the word hope because it's the closest. My hope was to get the attention of the Harbour Master. which, by recoiling in fear, I have done. So, why would I plead for the Harbour Master to save the life of somebody who's already dead? I mean, they've got the plague. That's it. They're gonna die. Now that I've got his attention, I'm gonna run away. And hopefully, Lorenzo is ready for me to get in the hotel. In. Whatever. Understanding there is no time to negotiate, you start running and take cover behind a fishmonger's gazebo. Swoosh! Talk! Your heart almost jumps out of your chest when you hear an arrow hit the gazebo. You peer over a crate and see one of the archers picking up a new arrow. Without hesitation, you start to run again. I'm pretty sure the Harbour Master's kitchen is own dock on sale on fire now. Swish! Oh no, a sharp pain bites at your leg. Realizing the arrows just grazed your skin, you continue to run and head into the darkness. Soon, the voice of the commander fades behind you. You decide it's a good time to leave the pier. You walk all the way back to the inn and find Lorenzo waiting for you outside. "Where were you?" asked Lorenzo. "Well, it doesn't matter. I got us a room." Without another word, Lorenzo leads you to the back of the inn and enters through an open window. "Stay low and follow me." You crouch and follow Lorenzo as he passes discreetly from one corridor to another. Soon, you reach a room with a broken door. "Lorenzo, really?" "This is it," said Lorenzo. "Let's not make too much noise, and I guarantee no one will bother us." As you walk into the room, Lorenzo claims first dibs on the bed by the window. So he can make a quick escape? You smile as your nose catches the smell of beef stew. "I got us some food from the kitchen." Soon the meal is served, and you both eat in bed like princes. The warm food cures your lingering nausea. Now I'm hungry. Well, coin free, that's the thing about my streams. They will tend to make people hungry. You haven't felt as happy in many nights. Oh, and we lost the minor disease symbol, and our health has gone up. Good night, Baldassar. If I was Baldassar, I'd make a quick exit in the morning. Farewell, Harbour. The morning sun casts long shadows on the piers, as fishermen, sailors, and old sea dogs prepare to board their ships. This is one of my favorite parts of the music. As you stand in front of a mighty vessel, Lorenzo turns to you. "This is where we part ways, my friend." Finally. I mean, he's helped us through some scrapes, but he's also gotten us into a lot of trouble. Lorenzo points to a large boat. "You see the large merchant ship? I'm going to board it and sail out of here." Before you have time to say anything, Lorenzo takes out his dagger. "I want you to have my knife. You don't know what's out there, and without me to keep watch, you're gonna need it." Without another word, Lorenzo places the knife in your hands and walks away. He joins a group of sailors heading to the ship's deck. He passes behind a few wooden crates, and then, just as he has entered your life, he disappears amongst the faceless crowd. You whisper to yourself, "Farewell, Lorenzo." Behind you, a group of people appear to be gathering. Gasps. You turn around and see an old woman, as white as a ghost. At her feet, a man in agony is lying in a puddle of a strange black substance. Upon close examination, you realize it's the well-dressed nobleman you met last night. Plot twist. As he opens his mouth, black saliva drips down to his chin. Well, I think that's cured my appetite. The crowd witnesses in horror as the man tries to get up but collapses violently to the ground. Please, says the nobleman. Someone help me. Cough. His glazed eyes spot you in the crowd, and the nobleman stretches out his hand towards you. You! Boy! I know you! The nobleman points straight at you. Oh boy, we've been fingered out. I mean, something. Help me! Please! I just need... Take me to see the doctor. Help the nobleman or stay away from the nobleman. Well... Atlas. Makes me feel like I want to eat some ramen noodle soup. Some ramen noodle soup. Except I already ate dinner. Oh, and Coin Fury, this game is translated from a French game. So I've also been helping with some of the word associations issues. That's why sometimes I have to stop and think when I'm reading something, because my brain, I used to be a proofreader, I will automatically fix it. But I have to slow down and think about some of these. Okay, so the nobleman's getting ready to die. He's already pointed a finger at us that he knows us. I'm sure that will get back to the Harbour Master. You could possibly blow it off like I saw him in the tavern last night. Maybe he remembers me from there? Matt! Vangelis! Ah! You've missed so many quotes. Well done. Well done. Oh, now that you're here, Matt, as if you're on my Discord, you may have seen it. Oh no, I lost the fluffy thing that goes on my microphone. Probably that's another one that Matt got. Beffels is having some back issues. One of her vertebrae is fused to her pelvis, her S1 sacro one. So she's probably not going to be streaming with me for a while. Um, they're trying to. She had an MRI Friday. They're waiting on the results of that, and hopefully she doesn't need surgery. I don't know anything about it. You've been power lurking while you whippersnipped the garden. Okay, what's whippersnipped? I have to ask. Just because you're Scottish living in Australia. I'm gonna guess it's probably like, the weed eater. Well, that's what I call ours. It's a spinny thing. I will do, Matt. It's in the general chat on my Discord. Atlas, what's your, poison? It's got the fight music. Oh, the whippersnapper is an Australian weed whacker. Gotcha. So yeah, that's why Buffles hasn't been around. She wanted me to help start. We were gonna start a, double co-host gaming thing, but she just is in too much pain when she sits down. She did upload a clip to her YouTube earlier. Try to remember what I have her as. Oh shoot, you're not gonna see it over there. It's Bang Buffles. Giggity. You cannot get me for that one since exclamation point is bang in coding jargon. Mm. I said giggity. Alright, Atlas. I'm gonna pick for you. Ah, I'll check it out. But right now, she who must be obeyed wants dinner. You know the rules. You know the rules, Matt. What is she who shall not be named getting for dinner? I eat vicariously through everybody else. Since I'm stuck on this diet for the rest of my life now. Been living on eggs, tortillas, green beans, French cut, mind you, applesauce, and kosher hot dogs. Alright, Atlas. Oh, there it is. Take him to the doctor. Alright. Help the nobleman. You decide to help the nobleman. Ah, did it again. Okay. I'm gonna have to send them a note on that. Holding the left click too long, it just skips through it. So, again, I'm sorry. I can't go back. I don't know what the one was before. I'm not that fast of a speed reader, but I think we can guess by the screaming of, "Stay away! Pestilence!" You freeze, unsure of how the crowd will react if you help the man. Oh, I'm thinking it's the Harbour Master. "I beg of you, I beg of you," said the nobleman. "Please help me." Ah, no. It's St. Andrew's Day in Scotland. Oh, we learned about that earlier. We did a little bit of history to learn some of the stuff they talk about in the game. Because I am knowledgeable on some history, but not all history. But there was a disease you could get from eating, oh wait, no, you said Anthony, this one's Andrew, or you said Andrew, this one's Anthony, never mind. Wrong A. Alright, go have your haggis. In Scotland, you can get deep fried, battered haggis with chips, fries. I know I've been told this before, but what's in the haggis? And now that I've been asked again, makes me, you know when you get to the boss, you know you're getting, I learned this in Skyrim. You knew you were getting to the final boss's room when you started finding health potions along the way in some of those dungeons. This feels like that. This is a hint. Now, will I get the hint? I don't know. Do you still want me to help him, Atlas? Because if it's the Harbour Master coming, he's gonna recognize us anyways. It's a don't worry about it. Wink, wink. It's like hot dogs. Don't worry about it. It's like sausage. Enjoy the taste. Don't worry about what it's made of. Uh-huh. Matt. Uh-huh. So I feel like helping him is going to end up in death again. Jeez. I was gonna do stay away. As you keep your distance, you witness a man walking closer to the nobleman. As he tries to help, the old woman picks up a stone and throws it right at the man's skull. Stay away! Pestilence! Others pick up more stones off the ground and join the stoning. Avoiding most of the stones, the nobleman heads towards you. No. Zelda! Holla! Welcome! And you were right. Well, we figured out what's wrong with the toilet, Zelda, when we had a big malfunction here earlier. It's the intake valve. Pick up a stone. Take out Lorenzo's dagger. Or wait. Wait to see if the crowd starts stoning the man? Because he's moving? Holla! You know, maybe I should start spelling it that way, and then everybody won't think I'm saying, hola. That's a lot for me to remember right now, though. I mean... I feel like wait is kind of like the step back option. You don't want to use... I don't want to use the dagger. It is my last choice. It doesn't say throw the stone. It just says pick up the stone. Ooh. But your next, if you pick up the stone, then the next choice might be to throw the stone. I'm thinking ahead. Hmm. Hmm. Chat. Nobody offering any opinions? Oh, looky, we do have stuff in our backpack now. Is there anybody out there? Alright, we're gonna pick up a stone. Two of them might be a bad one. One of them might be a good one. I'm trying to think. Maybe wait. Well... You quickly pick up a stone and aim at the nobleman. Go back to using the space bar. It doesn't skip as badly. As you're about to throw the stone, a villager pushes the infected man away from you. The nobleman collapses to the ground in a feverish fit, contorts himself, as if possessed by some demon. The terrifying scene paralyzes the angry crowd. At that moment, one of the tavern patrons from the night before recognizes you and points you out. "I saw this boy with the nobleman last night," says the witness. "He's not from around here." Uh-oh. "He brought this upon us." Oh, before the angry crowd has time to grab you, you run out of the plaza. Good idea. In terror, you run out of the city and head to the woods. Thick green branches offer protection, but you don't feel safe. You continue to hike deeper into the forest until the night falls. Finding a small clearing near a stream, you decide to camp for the night. You gather branches, start a small fire, and fetch water to make a soup. Prepare pine soup or look for snails? We've had both. We know, I remember that the pine soup is okay. I'm not so sure about the escargot, if he will remember to cook it properly, so we're gonna go with the pine soup. You find a pine tree and start to pick off bark near the base of the trunk. Using your knife, you peel back the inner layer from the outer bark and throw it into boiling water. After boiling it to a half liquid, half gelatinous mess, you fill up your cup and gulp down the hot goo. Unimpressed, you wash it down with a cup of water. After a warm meal, you sit silently in front of the fire. You look at the wound you have, and using a cloth, you wrap it up as best you can to start the healing process. Wound? What wound? Must be the arrow. The fire arrow. Ah, yep, it went away. As the fire twists and crackles, you think about your own mortality. Stare into the fire. This is one of those, you don't get a choice. Holding Lorenzo's knife close to your chest, you are glad to be alive. You realize the world you once knew no longer exists. The sharp blade in your hand reflects the flickering fire into your eye. Examine the wooden handle. Did I skip? That was just with the space bar. It's never gotten this bad. Taking the knife by its double-edged blade, you examine the wooden handle. Ragged and worn, it seems to hold 1,000 stories. Hold the dagger by the handle. Grabbing the wooden handle tightly, a sudden sense of invulnerability and defiance goes through you. You feel the ragged wood dig into your soft palm. And since each nick and notch of the handle has its own story, you wonder what new tale will soon be added to this dagger. And at what price? Are we done with Italy? Undernourished and weak, Aunt Camilla did not survive the harsh winter because we ate too much of her food in the beginning. The thought of your parents rotting away in their house still comes back to haunt you. The roads in Italy continued to be unsafe for travelers as bandits continued to attack merchants. Lorenzo thought you were weak to let the father and his son take the mule. After you have left, Aunt Camilla went to visit your parents' grave and left flowers. Alberico, the one-handed miller, spent many nights wondering who took his florin coin. Did I miss something about why the I know it said that Lorenzo thought we were weak for giving the man and the mule the horse, but there had to be a reason it said that. Did it skip something again? As Lorenzo boarded the ship, he wondered if he actually killed the rider with the heavy stone, or if the man survived. End of Tales of the Black Death, Italy. Onwards to France! Tales of the Black Death, France, is now unlocked. Return to the main menu. We survived! Yay! We made it to England, or France. I'm getting ahead of myself again. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to let the dev know about it clicking through too much. But I've not had that problem till tonight. So maybe I'm just holding them down longer, I don't know. Anywho, let's see if there's anybody over here on Twitch at least to raid. I know there's hardly anybody on YouTube, guys, but I do know Moose is Moose Gaming. And I'm pretty sure you guys aren't going to see this, but I think most of you follow him. If you do exclamation point Moose, it'll bring up his YouTube channel because the bots won't share the bot across to YouTube. But if you guys do raid Moose, give him a hashtag kitty raid for me. Meow meow. And I'm gonna find somebody for me to raid over here. I mean, a host is a host. Victoria is in Australia. She's playing Medieval Dynasty. Rustic Al is playing ARP. Carice TV is post-birthday stream playing Fallout 76. Thank you, Matt. So that's who you guys are going to raid over there. I need to pop up this. And next time, we will start the chapter France with Tales of the Black Death. So, who do we want to raid? Who have I not raided? Or not raided in a while? I raided Victoria a couple of times playing Icarus. Rustic Owl, I've done recently. Let's do Carice TV. He's playing Fallout 76, a game I have, but have not yet gotten into. You're gonna make me look for it. Stupid Twitch. Carys. There he is. Alright, everybody. Thank you for all the help tonight. Make good choices. Many happy... Okay. Many happy returns, and we'll be seeing you. Mwah! Good night!